And every day he was speaking that he is a spiritual person. Please come with me. And I was against that. At once I said, okay, now let us try it. Who is that person to whom you attached a lot? And I met with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And in that meeting, the person started to speak one story.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly I shouted, oh, you are talking about my past life. And he just laughed at me. He said, no, I am just telling a story. But
Mm-hmm.
throughout the night, I couldn't sleep because clearly he mentioned some incidences which happened in my childhood and which I have not shared to anybody.
Namaste to all the yoga sadhakas. So we are here with yet another episode of Yoganubhava series with the senior most fraternities of yoga in our country. And today we have a very eminent Dr. Sharadchandra Bhalekar ji with us from Kaivalyadhama. Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank
And he's somebody who doesn't need a lot of introduction. But still, for the benefit of those who have not heard about him, I will just take a few minutes to introduce him briefly to all of you. Dr. Sharadchandra Bhalekar ji is an Ayurvedācārya and has done his master's in counseling and psychotherapy, and he's working as assistant professor in Kaivalyadhama, which is one of the oldest yoga institutes of the world in Lonavala. He has authored a number of books on pranayama, mudra, meditation, yoga anatomy, and anatomy and physiology of yoga, therapeutic application of Hatha yoga practices, and a path of vipassana meditation. So, Dr. Bhalekar has a unique blend of modern as well as traditional approaches to yoga in his teachings and writings. He has conducted many number of workshops at national and international conferences. So, with this brief introduction, I welcome you again, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So the question is, I think in Yoganubhava series, we would love to definitely start with your journey itself. What made you to come to yoga, and what was your inspiration to
Yes.
stay in yoga for so many decades?
You see, basically, I am a medical doctor. And when I was in my medical course, I was in third year in 1991 something. And my one room partner was frequently going to meet one person. And every day he was speaking that he is a spiritual person. Please come with me. And I was against that. At once I said, okay, now let us try it. Who is that person to whom you attached a lot? And I met with that person. And in that meeting, the person started to speak one story.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly I shouted, oh, you are talking about my past life. And he just laughed at me. He said, no, I am just telling a story. But throughout the night, I couldn't sleep because clearly he mentioned some incidences which happened in my childhood and which I have not shared to anybody, to not my
Wow.
parents also, to not my friends also. How he recognized. After 3 days, again I went to him. Now I went alone, not with my friend. And then I asked him that, is it coincidence that your story match with my story, or is it really you pursued something from my mind? He said, yes, I pursued something from you. And I said, how it is possible? So he said that, where is your past? Where you collected your past? I said, in my brain, in my hippocampus. Then he said, in which form? I said, it is in the form of some vibrations. So he said, okay, yes, I have ability to catch those vibrations, so I can easily read your past. And that made me to go to throw directly into yoga. That yes, there is something which enhances your brain work, which makes your brain able to do some extraordinary perceptions also. Till up to that, I was considering it is superstition. It's a myth only. But now I started to consider it as a science. And then I started to learn yoga in view of modern science. And here I met with the thoughts of Swami Kolanandaji. And I was very pleased where who the person who started the scientific look in yoga 100 years before. In 1924, he founded the Institute Kaivalyadhama. Now we are celebrating the centennial year. But
Yeah.
why I attached with Kaivalyadhama? Because my mind is more scientific. So I want to give the explanation in view of modern anatomy, physiology, psychology. And that's why
Wow.
whatever the spiritual phenomena I got from that person, I try to explain that, or I try to evaluate that through the view of modern science. I think this is the journey. And
Wow.
you see, by chance, I was doing so many experiments of mantra japa and other things. But really, to speak, on one day, when I had a little something glimpse of extraordinary experiences, but at that time I was not meditating, really to speak, and it was just the accidental experience. And I saw some light in my not in meditation, in my when I was just coming to the wakeful state from the sleep, and it was just how the hammer hits the some surface. It hit at me here in between two eyebrows. But then after also I said that let us see the effect of that experience on my life. And after a long time I couldn't get any other more effect. So I said that it is just the part of nature. We need to work more hard. It is something that the businessman gives some free sample, but then after you need to buy it. Same thing that nature helps you in that way, but later on you need to borrow it through your karma yoga. And then I started some the practices of meditation, pranayama deeply, and then I attracted more towards the vipassana meditation, where because it is more scientific. And in vipassana meditation, step by step, how you become calm, how you become light. At one stage in that vipassana course on the 9th day, I found myself that I am a weightless body. That means it is not weight loss, but it is a weightlessness. And on that day, in the morning, I thought that probably I have weight loss. So I just throw my shirt and the banyan, and I saw in the mirror whether my muscle bulk became less. But it was same as it is. So it was just the weightlessness. And throughout the day, I found the weightlessness. And when I closed eyes, I was considering, or I was feeling my body as a weightless cotton, something weightless bubble. Okay. And at that time, you can't get disturbed. Even you remember your bad past, you remember anything, you can't react. This is the stage of samatva. And at that time, you are completely aware about the body. So top to bottom, you don't feel your gross body. You feel your body as a bunch of vibration only. It's a bunch of soft vibration, as like a waterfall. I just experienced the vibrations. That stage remained for 1 or 2 hours, and then again I came to the gross experiences. But then after I saw that my previous behavior was changed, and still I am with that now I certainly says that Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha is the last stage. Before that, Yogas Chitta Vritti Niyantran means first you change your personality. So whatever your Rajasic and Tamasic traits of the personality, that first get changed, and you turn into a Sattvic personality. This is the good milestone in the field of yoga. And that is good for our physical and mental health also, well-being also. And then you go for spirituality. So I think this is something how I attracted towards the path of yoga.
Very, very well said, sir, because I can relate to that very well, because I myself also a Vipassana meditator, and I experience very similar feeling on the 9th day and 10th day. The way you see the vibrations, right? You perceive the whole body as a vibrations. And even the scriptures talk about Lagutvam is one of the state that we attain through the practice of yoga, which is beautifully experienced in the practice of Vipassana also. Very nicely said. And so from this journey that you had so far, if you think that something that you always regularly practice for yourself and that you wish people to practice it, so it need not be only the asanas itself, it can be anything about the lifestyle that you have incorporated for yourself, which you want people to practice. So what those lifestyle messages would be, sir?
This is again very important question, because being a medical practitioner, my lifestyle was very bad. So a medical doctor now in the midnight also he has work, in the early morning also he has work, and that's why I decided to leave the medical practice. And then I searched for any yoga institute where I can follow, I can spend some time for myself also. And then I learned this Kaivalyadhama campus, where I worked as a medical officer also, and then as a teacher also, as a professor also, as a principal also. But here I got some time for my self journey also. This is the beneficial point. Okay, so probably I get less money, but I get the less time for my spiritual growth. So here again, while working in Kaivalyadhama, slowly I become very busy in my lectures also. But still, I give some time for my meditation, and definitely I follow Vipassana meditation, and at least half hour in a day I give for Vipassana meditation. And then in the evening, I follow some pranayama practices along with meditation also. Early morning, I wake up and I spend some time in the regular walking also. Then some mantra chantings or some Vishnu Sahasranam, Swami Sahasranam. I spend some time in that, and then I follow some meditation.
Okay.
And as being a teacher, when I teach to the students, some practical classes are going on. So while we are practicing pranayama meditation along with students, that happen with us also. So you also practice with them. So not necessary to get the particular personal time. While you are working with the student, automatically you get the time.
Understand. Very, very well said. So I one thing, right, earlier you mentioned about how you are being a modern doctor, you left and you came to yoga, and you still look at things as a very logical way. In the yoga fraternity, when I talk to people, right, they always say this to me, saying that after some point of time, it's beyond logic. It's an experiential science, so don't put too much of a logic into it to understand everything logically. So there is a contradiction here. So I was thinking whether to use logical brain or to let go the logical brain. So what do you say for that?
You see, definitely right now our brain is working within the parameters of ego. That is our logical brain. Okay. But this is something one SIM added in one mobile. Okay, and that mobile is working according to that particular SIM. But there is a double SIM condition also. So the brain is same. So brain can work logically also and spiritually also, as like double SIM system. You see, after the experience of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, after the experience of some Vibhuti, the yogi come to the usual state. Now he is able to experience the world externally also, and in that subtle way also. So it is something that brain is working according to double SIM application. So one SIM is that ego related, system, and one SIM is that drashta related system. Tada drashtu surupya avastha. Okay, so it's the phenomena of brain. After all, for both experience, the materialistic base is the brain. So it is a brain activity. Okay, so but brain have that power that to work through both directions, through logical direction also to spiritual direction. And definitely there are so many things which can't explain in a logical parameter, because it is beyond logical parameter.
Oh, very, very well said. I think comparing brain to a dual SIM is a very interesting thing. Yes. One SIM connects to the supreme, one connects to the materialistic life that we lead. So yeah, very, very nice. I think probably we should have that dual SIM attitude in all the activities that we do, so that we don't mix those things, very seamlessly. Then it creates a problem for us, particularly when we're interacting with the people, outside. Very, very well said. So thank you so much, Dr. Sharadji, for sharing so much of valuable insights with us. So thank you so much. And I hope we'll get more chance to talk and learn more from you in the coming days. So for those our viewers of Yoganubhava series, I hope you get a lot to learn from today's interaction with Dr. Sharadji, because it is something he just spoke everything from his own experience of how we came to yoga and how our brain has to be understood as a dual SIM application.
Yeah.
and how he left his medical field to come to yoga to find his own peace,
Yeah.
and what are the practices that he does for himself in his in his spiritual
Yes.
journey itself. I hope we can also incorporate some of the practices, and most importantly, whatever he is doing is to calm the mind. So he has found his way to calm the mind. I hope you all will find your way to do that too. So with that, so thank you so much for all the
Thank
viewers
you.
for
Thank you.
listening to this talk of Yoganubhava series. Namaste.
Thank you.